Serious question. If somebody asked the President of the United States to remove his bulletproof glass and all his bulletproof armor from his beast, as they call them, his presidential limousine, would that person be looking out for his safety, or would that person be exposing him to more danger? First, guys, go check out my good friends over at CMMG, cmmg.com. These guys make some of the best firearms on the market, some of the best variety of firearms on the market, different types of configurations, as well as different calibers and many different Cerakote finishes. These guys put their money where their mouth is. These guys are one of the leading companies out there who get on board routinely with Second Amendment issues, and they put their money where their mouth is. They are investing their own hard-earned money to protect our rights, and yes, they make good stuff also. Use my discount code FTATF at cmmg.com. Again, my discount code is FTATF for 10% off at cmmg.com. New York Democrat Congress skank Grace Meng has reintroduced for the third time H.R. 3247, which is titled the Aaron Salter Jr. Responsible Body Armor Possession Act, that would ban the purchase, ownership, and possession of, quote, enhanced body armor, another new term, by civilians. The bill defines enhanced body armor, another made-up term, as having the ballistic resistance that meets or exceeds Level 3 standards as defined by the National Institute of Justice. Level 3 and Level 4 are designed to stop rifle rounds. The legislation would also ban helmets and ballistic shields if they are Level 3 or greater. Now, I got all this from Lee Williams' article on Ammo Land. You want to check that out. Of course, there is a carve out, according to Lee, for, you guessed it, military, law enforcement. Oh, and a grandfather clause. So whatever you already own, Level 4, you actually can keep by the good graces of Miss Meng herself. I guess little old civilians, non-law enforcement, non-military like you and I, are too stupid to use body armor. Or it's presumed that we are all potential criminals if we don't fall into law enforcement and military. Think about that. They're saying that without even any checks whatsoever and no care whatsoever, all law enforcement, all military, exempt. Doesn't matter. So they're automatically assuming that you must be a really cool guy and super safe and not a criminal as long as you fall in one of those categories. However, everybody else is suspect. Everybody else is suspect. So you can't have any of that stuff because you very well could use it to protect yourself. How stupid does that sound? Meng, who is a member of the newly formed House Gun Violence Prevention Task Force, which I told you that this was a horrible idea to create another bureaucratic organization meant to take our guns away. She announced she was reintroducing the legislation on the 2-year anniversary of the 2022 Tops Friendly Market grocery store shooting in Buffalo, during which the shooter, who was wearing body armor and a ballistic helmet, killed 10 black customers and wounded 3 more. So a racist kills people and everybody else can't have body armor. Because everybody else is likely going to be a racist just like this guy. Because you have body armor. Didn't he have shoes on? He was wearing a shirt too. Didn't he drive a car to the location? So is it guilt by association? Anything this guy had access to, because her reason, literally her reason for us not having it, is because this guy had it. So anything else he had could be outlawed as well. It's the same stupid logic. She goes on to say that it should not be the case that anyone with internet access can purchase equipment designed to stop military-grade ammunition. What is their hang-up with military-grade? Do they somehow, because they never could see themselves being in the military, because you know none of them ever would be, do they somehow think that military-grade is better? Those of you who have been in the military, would you prefer something military-grade, according to them, or would you prefer something that is the best out there? Military grade is not the best. We all know that military grade goes to the lowest bidder and probably the thing that breaks not quite as much as the thing that breaks the most. So military grade, they have this thing of saying that military grade, because we call it that, and remember, they're calling it that. They're the ones calling it that. Nobody told them that level 4 body armor is military grade. It just is what it is. This is level 4 body armor. There's nothing special about it that makes it somehow military grade. Now, speaking of ignoring data, according to the FBI's landmark study, Active Shooter Incidents 20-year review, 2000 to 2019, roughly 5%, only 5% now, of active shooters wore body armor during their mass murders, 16 out of the total 345 shooters. That study was not cited in this. In fact, they instead cited our beloved Gun Violence Archive, stating that according to the Gun Violence Archive, there have already been over 150 mass shootings in 2024. You guys know, based on my numbers and more accurate numbers, there have not been 150 mass shootings. There's been what? You guys know the number. You watch my channel, you follow my channel, you know how many. 1. January 4th, Perry, Iowa. 1, quote, mass shooting so far this year. Not 150. That is a lie. So they cite the lie, the provable lie, the one that they well know, because guys, trust me, if we had 150 rampage killings so far this year, these emotionally driven wackos in Washington, D.C. would have already passed more gun control laws. So we know based on that the 150 number thing is a lie. I'm very curious, why would they want to remove something that makes us safer? First of all, it shows you how ignorant of the firearm culture and let's just face it, the preparation and prepper culture out there, because it's not just fervent Second Amendment guys. It shows you how ignorant they are of the culture. They are so entrenched into these bigger cities where they don't know any other life that exists, like the whole rest of the country. And they just don't understand that people prepare for things like that. Congresspersons have security, a certain level of security out there. They're usually not in any real danger. We are. These are the same politicians that are letting criminals back out on the street without any kind of a bail, and they don't want to put anybody in prison whatsoever. They're letting people plea down for different types of gun violations. So we're the ones at danger because they're putting these criminals and predators back out on the street to hunt us down, where they're never in any danger. So they never see that danger. What are some other things that maybe gun guys would use to make themselves safer? How about hearing protection? Are we going to get to a point where they don't allow earmuffs anymore because they assume if we have some kind of a rampage killer that puts earplugs in so that he can shoot his gun without the ringing in his head? Are they going to outlaw those because now we may use those in the commission of some kind of a shooting crime? What about eye protection? Are they going to take that off as well and say that none of us can have it? That's, mandatory. You can't have it. It's outlawed. Oh, but we're going to grandfather your current eye protection and ear protection in. That's the stupidity of outlawing Spartan armor. And I say Spartan armor because I have a link down below based on this story where you guys can get a little bit of a deal on some Spartan armor. So you want to check that link in the description down below. I don't think you have to rush out and buy it because I do not think this bill passes. I think people are like, really? But I'll put the link down there in case anybody is interested. If there if there has to be a rush on body armor, I at least want you to have a mechanism to go out there and get a better price and a good deal on it. So I'm providing the link just in case. But by no means am I saying rush out and buy it because this bill might have. I don't think this bill has a shot. If they're so worried about a really, really minuscule, small handful of people wearing body armor, I have a suggestion. Maybe we could contact the Freedom Caucus or some of these other folks out there that are true Second Amendment supporters who are in Congress and try to introduce some kind of a marksmanship bill. Not a mandate. I don't agree with mandates in any kind of way. I don't want to force anybody to do anything they don't want to do. However, mandatorily provide marksmanship training. Why? So that we can start making headshots. Does it really matter if anybody's wearing armor if you make a really good headshot? More specifically, in the face. So maybe that's what we should be pushing our congresspersons for. Some marksmanship training that the government funds and sponsors out there. Let me make this very, very clear, guys. Anyone, I don't care if it's a politician, your neighbor, a family member, anyone who seeks to remove things from you, regardless of what they are, level 4 armor or anything else for that matter, who seeks to remove any kind of thing, item, or whatever that makes you safer, they are not your friend. And they are certainly not looking out for you or your best interest.
God save the Queen, man.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.